Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Accountant Showcase. And so, very excited to bring insight to today's accounting world. And joining us is Susan Bryant. Susan, thank you so much for taking time out. And please tell us what you do and talk about what is Susan all about.
Well, thanks so much for having me on the show, Chris. I really appreciate it. I love this profession. Unfortunately, I think this profession has some problems. So I'll talk a little bit about my past and then maybe spend some time talking about the future.
Yes.
You know, as with most things, CPAs are great historians. So can recount all the things that I've learned over my career. So I actually have a degree in marketing. But somehow I talked myself into taking every accounting class that I could, and then eventually sat for the CPA exam and left a career in banking to actually go into public accounting, where the first day I showed up, they said, enter this trial balance. And I said, what's a trial balance? I didn't know anything, literally from the ground up. I worked for a very small firm. My first job in public accounting, it was me and the partner. And so I wore all the hats, did all the things, learned everything from accounting, tax prep, audit, reviews. I did a 401k audits, benefit plan audits, 5500s. I mean, I was the jack of all trades. I did it all. Went to work for a kind of a larger firm and really got focused on some of the audit stuff, and then realized, you know, the auditors, it just killed me that I couldn't change things to make it better. Like all I could do was point out these problems, and then year after year, they'd have the same problems. And it was like eating at my soul that you couldn't get in there and be like, but if you just did this one little thing, it would change it all and it'd be fixed. So I then kind of pivoted and started working in more of the accounting, if you will, like contract controller was what everybody called that at the time. Now I think that's probably more like outsourced accounting or CAS, or, you know, I like how the terminology has sort of evolved over some period of time. So anyway, then I spent 17 years working and building a CPA firm in the Plano, Texas area. Did lots of things. We went from hourly billing to the value pricing, and we were sort of making our way into subscription pricing when I decided to exit the firm. And now I'm on the precipice of starting a brand new firm called Unboxed Advisors, where we're going to do all subscription. And it's really more of a holistic approach, because what I have found over the course of my 17-year stay at my previous firm is that business owners need more. We're going a mile wide and an inch deep, and they really need an inch wide and a mile deep. We've got to help them solve some of these problems, take things off their plates. We have to be focused more on just transforming their condition so that they don't have these recurring problems. I think ultimately we'll make our jobs easier as accountants, but we'll also be making the businesses that we serve so much better.
I love how your career evolved in that aspect, because you provide a pertinent resource as far as, you know, starting your firm from the ground up and having it evolve. And so, and that's what it's all about, right? And I think the profession is seeing that, right? It change is constant, and change could be a very scary word, but you must have an open mind, right? And see what's out there, see what's available, and see what's going to make your life better. It's not always deadlines and working so late. It's working efficiently and effectively. And so, and you've done it from the ground up. What would you say from a standpoint of, let's say 3-4 years ago, until now, and then over the next 3 or 4 years, how the profession has evolved? I think it's done quite a bit over the last few years. What are your thoughts?
I think in some ways there have been some radical transformations we've seen in our profession in the last 3 to 4 years. I think one of them is this awakening that's happening for people of saying, hey, wait a second, I'm worth a lot more than I've been charging.
Yes.
That is one thing, like, you know, hey, I just saved you $100,000 in taxes and you don't want to pay my $500 bill. Wait. That bill probably needs to be $30,000. Like, I'm not going to keep giving you the best of myself and not being financially compensated for it. So I think that's number one. And I credit a lot of like the podcast and social media. There's been this proliferation of information that has really helped bring to light, like, hey guys, you're saving these people a lot of money. You're optimizing profits, you're saving taxes, you're, you know, changing the landscape for these business owners. You need to get a little bit bigger piece of that pie because you're really putting a lot of effort and not seeing the reward. So, and it takes time. It takes a lot of energy and effort to really work with you alongside the business owner. And it's not like you own part of their business. You don't have equity in it. So you should be rewarded in a different way. And that really is sort of that I think is one of the things that's been great over the last few years. So that's great. So getting away from the hourly billing, focusing more on the value pricing and ultimately subscription. That's been great. And Ron Baker's been leading the charge on that. And always I like to consider myself to be a student of his. I read everything that he produces. I've almost watched every podcast he's ever been on. He really has a great perspective and wants this profession to succeed and be what it once was, right? Or maybe even something better, more.
Go ahead.
I think one of the other ways that the profession has changed in the last 3 to 4 years is that the workers are fed up. Staff don't want to work under the thumb of a partner or a manager and just be like literally like an indentured servant, like I can only achieve this type of earning potential. You can only work on this type of work. You don't get an opportunity to manage the client. You will be sort of stuck at these levels. And I think that due to COVID, there were some demands that sort of it kind of brought to light, like, wait a minute, we've been underutilizing these resources from the firm's perspective and from the employee's perspective. Like, wait a minute, you know what? I could have been doing this all along and be making more money. Like, maybe I should set off on my own and do my own thing. So I think confidence has risen in the workers, which is awesome. And I think that they're willing to take some additional risks as they know, hey, I'm a hot commodity.
And that right there, the type of talent that's available and that's going after these roles now are all about the continuous development of themselves, of the firm, of their role. What can your firm, how can your firm provide me, resource as far as my professional development and growth, and not just being in the same type of role or being more advisory. And so it's exciting. I mean, that's what the profession, it's not just, entering tax returns. There's so much involved within this profession. It's amazing. And then starting your own practice and then working with a practice and helping them like yourself. And so I think that the adaptation and the comfort with cloud technology and changing regulations and the remote concept permeating now the industry. But remote work's been going on 30 years, right? Many companies, many industries have only remote teams. And so the accounting profession didn't really see how that would work, and now they do. So what are your thoughts as far as the resources that are out there? I mean, most of them have always been there, but now there's even more.
Well, from a technology standpoint, and now this generative AI, get ready. I mean, here it comes, right? Like
Terminator. Dun, 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 dun.
This is going to revolutionize our industry in a good way. I think in a lot of ways, as soon as the technology will catch up, it will hopefully lessen the burden on accountants, right? For some of this work that we can see already the potential for it to be automated, for the technology to make this, whether it's robotic process automation or, just data, integrations from one system to another, making like the Zapiers of the world and these APIs more effective and maybe easier to use. And maybe we also become a little bit more technologically savvy, but transferring data in these systems, I think there's a lot of potential for that, which hopefully will slightly, I don't think it's going to completely eliminate, but it should slightly decrease the strain we have on the resources available. But I think definitely leveraging our global talent. We need to be doing that. That's there's some amazing education that's happening in other parts of the world, and not just India and the Philippines, but in other nations as well, that really could be leveraged to help to reduce the strain that we're feeling. So I think that's one thing. My other real big issue with the future of our profession and how maybe we need to be thinking about it is, do we really need to be emphasizing this whole CPA accreditation and licensing? Does there need to be some other type of accreditation for accountants who are serving businesses that are not publicly traded? So they don't have IFRS and GAAP compliance. They're not doing the sophisticated accounting that's happening. I mean, 66 million small businesses were created in the United States in the last 3 years. That's 66 million new businesses to be served. And I can guarantee you there's a fraction of those are going to need, a true audited financial statement. And then, what they do need is they need accounting, and they need tax services, and they need guidance and strategy so that they make good decisions and they can stay in business. That's a whole different level of certification that's really necessary. So I think we might start to see some, I don't know, it's a split, a divide might be coming in our profession between those who are serving the bigger businesses and those that are serving the smaller businesses.
Well said. Well said. I couldn't agree more, because that could turn away some folks, because I need to get the CPA, but do I really want to be a CPA? But I love doing accounting work, or I love doing accounting work and for wine costing, or becoming a CFO for the New York Knicks or something like that. And it's like, well, why do I need this designation? So there should be different levels or different avenues that the folks can go. And when I speak with a client, especially in firm size 5 or 10 in small rural areas, there's not a lot of CPAs, right? So, but there's people that are excited to get in the profession and are willing to learn. And there's many, many, many success stories right then and there. And so the owner partner is willing to train and develop them, and they never got their CPA license, but they are one of their top producers in the office. And so that's a good point, because it's just, it could scare some folks away, unfortunately, that are really strong and contribute for the local firms. Yeah, I agree. Now, with the you mentioned about global resources, and I think the level of comfort there is at an all-time high. It doesn't matter where they work from at this point,
Well, I agree with you. And it's almost like, and same for the client, same for your clients, right? So your customers are like, where are you? It doesn't matter. Where are your employees? Doesn't matter. I mean, this is kind of refreshing, actually, because after having been an employee where it's like, well, I don't know your work. I don't know if you're working, if I don't see you every day. Like, really? Like, now all of a sudden we're ushering in this new generation of managers, and the managers are looking at things differently. So it's fabulous. You're right. I think it's going to ultimately, change the balance of global to domestic workers in our CPA firms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All working together. I mean, this is when you look at everything in your house, right, and just everything, probably 90% of it was not made here in the US. Well, folks, knowledgeable, competent, hardworking folks in other countries produce this. And so I just think, like you said, it's refreshing for folks to have an open mind and willing to bring in folks from different countries and like, you're part of my team. Let's do this together. It's
we had a global workforce at my prior firm, and the question came up like, well, should we list their names on the website? And I was like, absolutely, they're part of the team. And the other thing is we want to work with the clients who are progressive thinkers. So if they've got a problem with the fact that we have a global workforce, the chances are pretty good that their mindset is small. And they're probably, we're eventually going to have to part ways anyway, because I want to work with the people who are saying, hey, Susan, who'd you talk to about doing that? Because I want to do that too. I want to work with the people who are looking beyond what they know and searching out possible alternatives and being innovators and the pioneers in their field, right? And they're not afraid of taking some risks, calculated, controlled, of course, all those things. But, you know, the greatest entrepreneurs, the ones who have made the biggest difference, have created the greatest impact on this world, the ones that they just weren't afraid. They were willing to take that risk. So those are the exciting people that I personally want to work with. And they're not scared off by technology, global workforce, change, process reengineering, re-architecture, reorganizing, tax planning and strategies. They're not, all that stuff is like, bring it, right? They're enthused and invigorated by the fact that someone's bringing them new ideas, and it's like a mutual inspiration, right? You as the accountant are serving as an inspiration for your client. The more innovative you are, the more forward thinking, that's the type of clients you're going to get. They're going to be attracted to you. Like it's a moth to a flame kind of thing, right? Like they want part of that energy from you. So bring it.
Bring it. No, spot on, because and then it makes you look attractive to local talent, like especially with the new millennial workforce. They think differently. And so if it's like, wow, this firm is just cutting edge, leading edge, they're in comparison with the other 5 local firms, they're the only ones that utilize technology. They have a step-by-step process. They know how to onboard. It's like, I want to work with them. And just the word starts spreading, you become the it firm. So it has value all across the board. And I've never seen speaking with a client 6 years ago, many of the owners were letting their clients run their firm. Well, I can't change this because these clients do it that way. Well, can't do this. And I don't see it anymore. I say, well, I fired these clients, those clients. I have all my best clients. All new clients will follow this specific way of being onboarded in order to work with us. And this is the way. This is what we're doing. And kudos to them. That's how it should be. It's your firm, not the clients. Don't let them run it. And so,
well, we've been taught, this is the thing about accountants. I mean, we were taught to be people pleasers. It's whatever the client wants, you do it, whatever they say, do it, la la la. I mean, there's so many different things that we were taught. It was almost like it's like a generation of accountants who was taught that way. And like all of a sudden, like we're all starting to rebel. We're like teenager accountants. Okay. It just took us, 20 years to get there, 25, sometimes 30 years. Right. But now we're sort of rebelling against these traditions and saying, you know what, this has not served me. Why am I doing this? Just because grandpa's CPA did it before does not mean that I need to do it now. Right.
now,
So
more than ever,
we're feeling all of this, and I think that hopefully, I think that we all really need to hope this is that this new energy, this new sense of the renegades who are sort of paving the way for this new way of the profession to operate. We can only hope that it will inspire students to want to come into this profession and continue and make it even better than I think we hope for it to be. I think that has to be what we focus on next is having better messaging. This is always like during a presidential campaign where you're like, oh my gosh, if only we had a better public speaker, then that person could convey why their ticket is the best one to vote for, right? I mean, how many times have you gone to these, seen the debates on TV or listened to a presidential stump speech or whatever, and it's just lackluster? That's what I feel like is wrong with the accounting profession right now. There's no one who has really sort of emerged as this person who people are getting super excited about, like, oh my gosh, I want to be in accounting, and I want to be an accountant because that's what you can do. The impact, the exceptions, the rule breakers, all the things that get people super excited, like the money that they can make, the difference, how they're changing the world and all that other stuff. I mean, I just feel like there's no one out there saying those things. And,
Yeah.
and
It's a
people
little
want
bit of a
that.
disruption. And
Yeah.
it's a necessity. Many clients too, how they pay their staff. I mean, I have always been in a role where it's paid for performance. If I suck, I don't make money. If I do great, I make great money. And many firms are moving to that model too. And that is helping create an awesome work-life balance because you're able to get rewarded for your efforts too. And there's few firms out there doing it, and there will be more. But with the firms that the folks that are graduating over the last few years and the next few years are working with a big firm. A lot of them I noticed, take that example 10 years back, they're all going out on their own. They all know how this works, and they have their own vision and going out on their own and bringing in the clients and doing it their way. And so I just feel that more and more will not don't need to follow that traditional path and can be very innovative and bring solutions to the 66 million new businesses out there.
Yeah.
And it's happening right now, and that's what's exciting.
So I'm totally with you. I totally agree. Salaries are stupid. They're dumb.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about my own personal, why would I have ever tolerated that for so long? I don't even know. I was so worried about making a certain amount that I didn't think about what I could be making, right? Like, that's so silly. I mean, we're almost putting a ceiling on people. How terrible. Why would you want to have a cap on your income earning potential? You want to have an opportunity to work at a firm that says, look, I'm going to make sure that all of your basic needs are met, right? You're going to have food, clothing, shelter, health insurance, all this stuff, right? We're going to make sure your basic needs are met. The rest, it's up to you, and it's unlimited. Go for it. Sky's the limit. Go, right? So the more you want to work, or the bigger difference you make for your clients, you're rewarded for that. I'm with you 100%, Chris. This is the future.
Yeah, and then everyone will be held accountable in the same way, but it gives opportunity for folks that are like, man, they're looking at part-time work, or they're doing freelance work, but heck, they could be doing that with this firm. And so it just creates loyalty, and they're going to stay with you because they just enjoy working with you. So it allows everybody that meets their weekly requirements, and they can't do any more. That's fine. But folks that want more, it's right there. Go for it, and you'll get rewarded. Wow, you are fun to talk with, but we could talk all afternoon. We need to wrap it up today for our audience, but let's tell us a little bit about the firm that you're launching, and who would be your ideal client? An expert tip out there for somebody looking to work with you.
Yeah, so the name of this firm is Unboxed Advisors.
Okay.
So note, this is not a CPA firm. Yes, we are CPAs. Yes, we are doing accounting and tax work and advisory work, but I don't want to be subject to the limitations of a CPA firm anymore. Because guess what? That is the future, is to get away from the limitations that we're not serving the public. We're serving privately held business owners, and it's the difference. So we're doing 100% subscription. So no more hourly billing, no more even value pricing. It is subscription because we need frictionless billing around everything. Nobody wants to get an invoice for all of their entities anymore. It is just too difficult to manage. So, and then really focusing on taking less or taking more off of the business owner's plate instead of giving them more to do. Like, oh, hey, you need to go implement a 401k plan. No, like, we'll do it for you. You make the key decisions, but we're going to go to spearhead and quarterback these initiatives because the business owners are too busy. They need to stay focused on making money and give the rest over to really a key partner in that process. So that's what our firm is going to be focused on. And that's really, I think, going to be the driver of the future. It's a new category, really, of holistic business advisory services that are really focused on the business, private businesses. So, outside of that, for us, it's really entrepreneurs. We're really focusing on the medical practitioners, physicians right now. So it's got to be business owners who are making at least $1 million in taxable net income. That's really the starting point for us. My hope is that we can really find a way to scale these services and begin to deliver them to those other 66 million businesses that just got created over the last few years, because I know how desperately they need something other than Google University when it comes to accounting, tax, and business advisory services. They need specific advice. So, I mean, that's my goal, is eventually to create some type of way for us to really help those business owners, because they need it.
Yeah, I decided I evolved your business by now because of your unboxed advisors. You're now working with firms, so I apologize for that. But you gave out several awesome tips, right? One, I find that you're niching in a certain area. That's great, right? So firms looking to do it, you can do it, right? What do you need to focus on? What are you going to be an expert in? How are you going to get the most excellent service delivery to your clients? So just in you telling me about changing what's happening right now, you got to have an open mind. You can do it. There's many resources out there to assist you. Yes. And so, Susan, thank you so much. Well, besides work, what does Susan like to do for fun? What is, besides working with the 66 million small businesses, what are you doing for fun?
I'm an accountant. Do any accountants have hobbies? I don't know.
Come on. Walking, reading, fitness, dancing.
I'm a learner. I really enjoy. I have 2 teenage daughters, so anytime that you can find me not working, I'm usually trying to beg them to spend time with me because they're teenage daughters. So
please,
please,
mama's free.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Oh, that's good. You got to separate, right? Enjoy work-life balance. So, but anyways, thank you again so much. Like I said, we talk all afternoon, but you provide some great insight today. It's awesome to be an accountant, and thank you for giving insight and for your during your journey and being a CPA. So for now, everybody, take care. Susan, thanks.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Bye.